Sharks are often portrayed as terrifying creatures that lurk in the deep and pose a significant threat to swimmers and surfers. However, it's important to remember that sharks can also be found in shallow waters and can pose a danger to anyone in their vicinity. While standing in chest-high waters in Egg Rock, Middle Harbour, Australia, Zeta was attacked and torn in half by a bull shark. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. Welcome to Final Affliction. Middle Harbour is a beautiful natural waterway located on the north shore of Sydney Harbour, New South Wales, Australia. It is a large estuary that is fed by several tributaries, including Garrigal Creek, Middle Harbour Creek, and Roseville Creek. The area is surrounded by lush bushland and provides a tranquil setting for water-based activities such as swimming, boating, kayaking, and fishing. However, dangers lurk amidst the immaculate view of this place. Sharks are known to occasionally enter Middle Harbour, but their behavior in this location can vary depending on a number of factors, such as the species of shark, water temperature, and availability of prey. In general, these creatures pose a relatively low risk to humans, as the place is mostly enclosed by a body of water with limited access to the open ocean. However, on rare occasions, the infamous bull sharks enter Middle Harbour. These types of sharks are known to be particularly aggressive, and they have been responsible for a number of shark attacks on humans in other parts of the world. While bull sharks are not as commonly found in Middle Harbour as some other species of sharks, like the smaller Port Jackson sharks, their presence in the area does pose some risk to swimmers, surfers, and the like. But sharks are known to be attracted to areas where there is abundant prey, such as fish and other marine creatures, and they can sometimes be found in shallow water close to shore. Unfortunately for Zeta and her friends, they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Zeta woke up early on a warm morning on January 4th, feeling excited and full of anticipation. Today was the day she and her friends had been planning for weeks, a picnic at Egg Rock, Middle Harbour, one of the more scenic spots in Sydney, Australia. Zeta had always loved spending time in the great outdoors, and the idea of a picnic near the water was the perfect way to begin the year. In the kitchen, she prepared the ingredients necessary for the picnic and arranged everything neatly in a wicker basket. She set it aside, ready for the calm, relaxing day ahead. Unbeknownst to her, this day marked one of the most gruesome bull shark attacks in history. As Zeta arrived at the picnic spot, she was greeted by her friends' laughter and chatter. She smiled and waved. They boarded the motor launch that would take them to their picnic spot. It was a hot and hazy day, and the waters inshore were clear. The breeze was gentle and blew warm air that carried the scent of the sea and the nearby eucalyptus trees. Eventually arriving at the spot, Zeta and her friends spread out their picnic blankets near the shore. The group shared stories, laughing and chatting as they enjoyed the stunning views of Middle Harbour. As the day progressed, the group decided to explore the surrounding area. Zeta led the way as they walked around the rocky shore, taking in the beauty of the rugged coastline. They saw fish swimming in the clear water and other sea creatures. Zeta and her friends stopped to take a dip in the water, cooling off from the warm sun. They took turns jumping off the rocks and into the refreshing water. At around 3 p.m., two of Zeta's friends, Mr. and Mrs. Bowes, waded into the shallow water, while Zeta watched from a distance of 10 to 12 feet away in the deeper parts of the water. As the two splashed and bathed in waist-deep water, they noticed that Zeta was drifting farther away. They called out to her, warning her not to stray too far, as they had heard of bull sharks being spotted in the area before. Zeta nodded, feeling a sense of unease, but she shrugged it off, thinking that sharks would never come this close to shore. Still, she followed their advice and made her way back slowly. Unbeknownst to her, a 14-foot bull shark was encircling her in the chest-deep waters. Its movements were quick and menacing. It silently glided through the shallow water, its razor-sharp teeth and powerful jaws at the ready. It was sizing her up. It sensed the vibrations through the water, watching and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The shark bided its time and took advantage of Zeta being turned away from the ocean. It closed in on her, cocking its head from side to side. The shark darted toward Zeta and opened its powerful jaws. And then it happened. Zeta felt a tug on her legs, forcing her to throw her hands up in the air. The pain made her blood run cold, and she screamed in terror. One of Zeta's friends, Mrs. Reeve, was on an elevated rock. As she saw the horror unfold, she screamed for her son-in-law, Frederick, who was on the motor launch a few feet away from Zeta. Frederick turned to see that Zeta was being attacked by a large bull shark. He knew he had to act fast to save her. Without hesitation, he quickly grabbed an oar from the motor launch and leaped into the water, determined to scare the shark away. As he swam toward the commotion, Frederick could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins. He raised the oar above his head and struck the water repeatedly with a resounding blow. However, this made no impression on the marauding shark. It was still attacking Zeta and began pulling her away into deeper waters. It was a terrible sign. Frederick's instincts kicked in. He leaped onto the motor launch and frantically started the engine. The boat roared to life. Grabbing the steering wheel and revving the engine, Frederick accelerated toward the shark, hoping to ram the beast in the head with the motor launch. Despite his best efforts, this plan failed as well. Frederick jumped to the side of the motor launch in a last desperate attempt to save Zeta. He grabbed her by the hair, pulling her with all his might. He won the tug-of-war, but all that was left of Zeta was her torso. The shark had gotten away with her lower body. The water had become red with Zeta's blood. There was no way she could survive this amount of blood loss. Frederick scanned the water and saw Zeta's legs in the creature's jaws as it disappeared into the depths. Zeta was limp, pale, and hanging on by a thread. Frederick was shocked to see such a gruesome sight. He pulled Zeta's limp body closer to the boat, but the damage was already done. Zeta's eyes were starting to close while she bled heavily. Frederick knew he had to get her to the hospital fast, but he also knew that it might be too late. He started the engine and accelerated toward the shore. The calm, relaxing day quickly turned into a nightmare. Frederick knew that time was of the essence, and every second that passed brought them closer to the edge. Eventually, they approached the shore, and Frederick was helped by their friends, carrying Zeta to the shore. They called for an ambulance, but even as the paramedics arrived and worked on her, Zeta was no longer responding. They pronounced her dead. Zeta's attack was only one of the 6 that occurred throughout the years. These recent shark attacks in Sydney all occurred in Middle Harbor. But sharks are a formidable and dangerous species of shark that pose a serious threat to people who enter their habitat. More importantly, they pose a serious threat because they're known to thrive in shallow waters, as exemplified in the case of Zeta Steadman, who was merely standing in chest-level depths. The next time you go swimming, make sure to be cautious. Even in the shallow waters, you may just end up meeting your terrifying final affliction.